Okay, great. So we're now recording this, which is great. Okay, so thanks for joining us. Anne-Marie Hatfield and myself, Mike Davila, are going to be walking us through the transition uh, from MCP to Focus to Explore. Now, right off the bat, let's clear up some confusion as to what this is and what it's not. First off, Focus to Career is the website that the assessment is being hosted off of. Focus to Explore is the actual application that the students will go through as they do their pre-work leading up to student positioning. Okay, so one is the website, Focus to Career, and the other is the actual application our kids use. And you'll notice here on the screen there's Focus to Career, there's Focus to Apply, and Focus to Explore. Basically, these are different products that Career Dimensions are marketing to different audiences. Ours is tailored to high school students, and for what we need, this gives the best bang for the buck. So that's why we're using Focus to Explore. Okay, so really nice looking website. The first thing I'd like to say is that they've done a really nice job, and they have spent literally years getting their presentation and the search, all of their components have been upgraded from MCP in terms of usability and prettiness is, I guess, the right word for it. So I'm very excited about that for our families. Anything to add on that, Anne-Marie?
Yeah, I would say that MCP and Focus 2 are managed and directed by the same company. So it's still Career Dimensions. It's still a very similar career assessment to what your clients experience through MCP. This offers a couple of more functionalities to it, and to Mike's point, it's a nicer package. It definitely looks a lot better than MCP in my opinion. It's a little more user-friendly as well in terms of the reporting that comes out of the assessments that they take.
Yeah, and I would also piggyback on and agree with Anne-Marie in the fact that if you as a planner are used to using Holland codes, or if you speak with your clients like, I'm an ECS or I'm a SCA or whatever, this is not going to be far off from what you've experienced. I mean, this is going to be virtually the same is what I would say. The underpinnings are very, very, very similar. But let's dive right in. Let's take a look. Let's kick some tires. So first, we'll go to log in, and we're just going to use Anne-Marie's account here. And yeah, here we go. And then I'll go ahead and log her in. Okay. And Anne-Marie, do you want to talk about the username and logins for Planners clients?
Sure, absolutely. With MCP, the username was the cell phone number without any dashes. We kept that the same for Focus 2. For MCP, the password was the kid's name in caps. For Focus 2, the password is going to be the same for everybody. And that's capital E for Ingus. So it's capital E, lowercase NGUS 123. And so that's the same for everybody. The kids, when they log in, are going to have the opportunity to, the first thing they're going to have to do is go through and they have some privacy questions just in case the kids forget. If they forget the password and they don't reach out and they set their own, we're going to need to make sure that the kid shares that with us because we won't have access to that. With MCP, we could go through and see what the username and password were, and then we're able to reset it if needed. Here, it doesn't show us what the password is, so if the kid changes the password, we have to go through and reset it. So
not a big process. It's actually more for the student positioner. They need to know that a lot of times what will happen is before an actual SP call, the student positioning counselor will come into Focus to Explore now and do some digging and kind of review some of the results before going live with the client. And so if the kiddos change their username, password stuff, then we're going to have to just ask them for it on the student position. So not a real big deal to a planner, but just know the logins for each people, each one of your clients will be in the notes, and it's all going to be uniform. Okay, so logging in. This is the screen that your clients will first come upon when they come in. And you'll notice a lot of white space, very clean. Let's get just, started developing your personalized career and education plan. So fantastic. You'll notice up here there's some instructions on what to do. So if we click on that, this will really help, focus your kid, not to use that, no pun intended, but they can get some instruction on what to do. They can come back here to see results. They can look at their account. This is where their username and password kind of stuff, is going to reside, etc. So first things first, the academic strengths. This is a new addition. This was not part of MCP. So let's go to the review application. Anne-Marie's already gone through her academic strengths, and it's very simple. It gives different functionality in terms of broad areas of study within high school. Like Anne-Marie indicated that she did really pretty well in business management, marketing, no surprise there. Art, she did okay. Engineering, never really did in engineering, and so on and so forth. You can see pretty simple. The kids just check off, kind of their own self-assessment. And when they finish this, you can see it probably takes them 10 minutes, 5 minutes or so to get through it. What it does is it spits out this little sheet, which is going to be, I think, very helpful for student positioners. What do you think, Anne-Marie?
Agreed. This actually helps pinpoint what they themselves think that they do really well in. This is really helpful, too, because it kind of ties everything with the academics. If you took an engineering class, how did you do? If the kid said, I did terrible engineering, and he wants to be an engineer, then that's insightful for the student positioner to be able to take that information and use that in the ESP.
Absolutely right. Okay, cool. So let's go finished, and it's going to bring us right back to the home page here. Now, one interesting point here, this is self-assessment. This is essentially a reworked, this is the guts of the MCP program, just made more pretty, et cetera, et cetera. You can see when you log into the main website that Anne-Marie has done 100% of all of these assessments. Okay, so interesting to note, if you as a planner log into one of your students' accounts and you see that the kid has not done anything, these will all be at 0, or you'll see some sort of fractional amount of what they have completed. Now, how long did this take you, Anne-Marie, to do?
I did it pretty quickly. I mean, I did the work interest assessment in about 5 minutes. And then the others took probably that amount of time as well.
Yeah.
So I think all told, I probably spent 20 to 30 minutes on the entirety of all of the assessments.
Yeah, so pretty short, pretty sweet. You'll notice that, let's go back to review. So these are the actual questions that your students would go into for the work interest assessment. By the way, the interest assessment is the key to give the Holland codes, the 3-digit codes at the end that we'll look at in a bit. If the students do the other assessments and never finish this work assessment or work interest assessment, we're not going to get Holland codes. So just to let you know that that is a fact. Okay, so for example, Anne-Marie responded to this, to what degree would you enjoy ... designing graphic art images and illustrations for advertising media too? Okay, so not something that she really would enjoy doing for the most part. Researching how fatigue affects airlines, pilots, reaction time, and judgment. She said, yeah, that would be, a high degree of interest, and so on and so forth. There are 4 or so pages of these, groupings. That's it. It's not a super long, it's not 3 hours long, so that's good.
The questions are easy enough to where the kids can give a pretty decent assessment on it.
Yeah.
They're not ethereal. They're
very specific.
Right.
To what degree would you enjoy administering treatment and therapy to people with health problems? Okay. So you give them a little star rating, which is nice. Okay, so I'm going to get to the end of this. So there was, 6, 7, I lied. Okay. At the end, that's perhaps 10 minutes worth of work, 5 minutes worth of work. Your results. The first 3 work interest areas shown in the graph are described below are most important to you. So for her, she was enterprising, social, and conventional. Knowing Anne-Marie, this is no surprise. She's never come into the office going, gosh, I love doing lab work. I can't wait to dig into the science of this. Or, gosh, can you hand me some accounting to do? I would love that. Ever. Okay, so enterprising, persuaders, social helpers, conventional organizers. So no big changes here. As a matter of fact, these are lock, stock, and barrel, the exact same words that are used on MCP to describe the top 3 Holland codes. What's different here, though, is that in MCP, when you got to the end where it looked at results, it would start really spitting out, tons and tons of careers. Well, we've got a bunch of careers here, but this is a very manageable list by comparison. So I would say that they've probably done some work behind the scenes to target things. If you're guiding your kids, there is one thing that Anne-Marie noted earlier today, which I think is true. Notice that it's not really obvious what to do next. Okay, you're done. Does this mean these are the only careers for me? Social welfare administrator, personnel administrator? Well, no, not necessarily. But what can happen is this is the exploration part. Let's say that Anne-Marie, who has, by the way, family who are, middle school administrator. So let's say that she, because the apple's not falling far from the tree, decides that she wants to dig into this particular career, now. Okay, great. So she can jump into that, and it's going to give her some, understanding of what the tasks are. But very interestingly, it's going to give her a breakdown of her Holland code set versus the career. And you can see she's in blue, the elementary school administrator is in red. Okay, so pretty nice. If you've never seen this, this is also a holdover from MCP, but I think it is kind of shoved in front of everyone's nose a lot better than what they'd done on MCP. Plus, this is all horizontal, or the old one was horizontally aligned. This one's vertical and much bigger, so it's easier to read. Okay, let's say that she decides, I'm going to save this occupation. I'm going to say it aligns with my skills and the working conditions I like. Why do you like this career? It's appealing, because, okay, yada, yada, yada. And maybe she just likes it for 1 thumbs up, save the occupation. Very similar to Facebook. I think the kids will relate with that thumbs up concept. That's pretty intuitive. What we need to do now, though, we could either go back to the careers or we can go back up to the home page. Okay.
The only way that the kids are going to be able to move on to the next assessment is if they click the home button.
Yes, which I think maybe need to be an improvement, but there we have it. That's what it is. Values assessment takes us back here. Values and skills, these are very short. They're like 3 items out of a list. So you can literally get done with those in a matter of minutes. This personality assessment is very similar to the work interest assessment, and then it takes a little bit of time. Okay, so in the end, we can synthesize these things together. We could say we want to know all 4 of these areas that we've assessed. We'd like to know where there's overlap, because that's where the fruit is, right? So here we go. Are you still with us there, Tony?
Yeah, I'm still, absolutely. I'm sorry about that. I just don't know how to silence this.
That's okay. I'm going to mute you from here.
No, that's okay. I just hung up on it.
Okay. All right. Good man. All right. Hope it wasn't a client. Okay. So, 2 occupations appear in 4 of the assessments that you completed. So let's look at those. Funeral directing and training and development manager. Okay. Well, Anne-Marie is too happy-go-lucky for this. That's for sure. But the training and development manager, yeah, that could fit. Fantastic. So you can see where we have some overlap. Okay. Okay. So you can see that there's some overlap here, and then over here we can get a little bit of salary information, and of course we could hyperlink straight to this particular career, just as we did before. Okay, good. So let's go back to the home page. I think that students need to spend a lot of time in these assessments in combining different combinations of these 4. For example, I've had, in my experience over the last, gosh, we've used MCP for 10 years or so. I've had some people come back and say, oh, that wasn't so accurate. Well, okay, take out the personality and look at work, interest, values, and skills, or vice versa. Take out the work interest and look at these 3. you can sometimes see where there's real confluence of information. And as a counselor, that's the sort of stuff that's being done behind the scenes, sometimes even before the call, the student positioning call, to look and see, where we can guide the student best. Okay, and as is before, we could explore any area of study or any occupation. What I like about this, gang, is that before an MCP, if you wanted to look at any area of study, you actually had to go into a separate module. You had to dig deep in order to get into this. It's put in front of you right away, which I like that. This has always been there. Job family, this is new. And the fact that you can dig into this and say, okay, I don't know what's within computer and mathematical, but let's explore that. So there's another way of running through here. And you're going to notice that, some of these have some pretty bright outlooks, which, by the way, the Department of Labor is saying that a lot of these computer jobs are the wave of the future. So it's not surprising to me that they all have these bright outlook symbols here. Let's look at some other ones here. No, nothing there. And the other thing I wanted to point out here, see it where it's like a green job, that means that this is going to be, kind of in an environmentally sustainable type of career. Okay, let me reduce that. Okay, so there we have it. Let's see here. So at the end, there's a summary. My saved occupations, my saved majors, and review and print my portfolio. So here were some of the things that she had saved in the ratings. Again, gang, this is going to be something that counselors are going to be looking at and working with the students on to see, hey, do they have any of these? I've done lots of sessions where the kids didn't have any kind of saved occupations, and sometimes that tells me that they haven't done their part very deeply. And then you could see, for example, remember on this one, I put in some comments. It's always really helpful to get these comments from the kid because then you know where their mind is, even before you jump onto the call. Okay. Amory, anything on this that you would add?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay, good. Portfolio saved majors. Let's look at that. We didn't save any particular majors, which is, again, gang, is a little different from MCP. MCP, you just saved careers, and it wasn't as if you were being asked to save the actual majors themselves. So what's missing here? One of the things that's not in here is a college search. MCP had a college search attached to it. So is that good or bad? I like their search, fine, but is that going to impede our clients? No, because they're going to get a customized college search through Ingus anyway. So that's not a major heartburn. But from a ease of navigability, from a presentation perspective, I really think that we end up having some really nice functionality here for the clients. I think they're going to enjoy using this assessment a lot because it looks very clean and it looks like other applications that you might see on the internet. And then finally, you can build a little bit of a portfolio here. This is not meant to be an academic resume or anything like that, but again, this is really pretty nice from a review perspective. So if you, as a financial planner, are meeting with your client in an office, you can simply log into their assessment, go to this portfolio, build it, and then you've got an advanced head start at least on where the student is and what their mind is.
This is great because this pulls all of the pieces from all of the different assessments into one document that makes it very easy to read. And it's a really good talking point with your clients.
Absolutely. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do, Tony, I'm going to unmute you. Okay, so you're unmuted now. Do you have any questions for me or for Anne-Marie?
Yes. Well, first of all, I just want to point out that on Anne-Marie, it's hard to hear you on if this is being recorded. At least on my end, it sounds like there's an issue with either a headset or whatever you're using for microphone. It's not clear, like nice. Yeah, there are a couple of things. I didn't hear what you said when you said how long does it take to complete it on average. And I'm sorry, that didn't come through clearly.
Probably going to be 20 to 30 minutes max. And what I do when I talk to kids, I encourage them
Mike, can you repeat that because we can't hear it here?
How about if I say, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, that's a little better.
So I'll repeat what Amber
I'm sorry, I can't. It doesn't come through on the webinar.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm not webinar. So, question was, how long should it take we're talking.
Okay, well, I can't hear anything if you're speaking, but when Mike speaks, I can hear it very clearly.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
All right.
what's happening is you just hear a word and then there's a blank.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. If you have any questions, you can call for now, we'll sign off and
A little better.
okay.
I think this has some program. I have experienced it previously with other webinars.
Yeah. Audience, I went ahead and stopped the recording. I don't know if you can hear me still, but we can hear you pretty well. Yeah. Okay. Bye.